Are you looking for better shooting experience? How about a facility where you can shoot all of your firearms in the same day, where you can move and shoot steel, draw from the holster, and practice your rifle work out to 600 yards? Shoot a very challenging sporting clays course or a round of trap or skeet. You can do all that and much more at the Aurora Sportsman's Club. Hi, I'm David Lombardo, president of the Aurora Sportsman's Club. If you love the outdoors, you'll want to know all about Northern Illinois' largest outdoor shooting facility, the Aurora Sportsman's Club. If you're a novice looking for a basic course, an experienced shooter looking for an advanced course, or perhaps you want to participate in your favorite shooting event, or just spend an enjoyable day with a family, the Aurora Sportsman's Club is the only shooting facility in the region that offers all that and more. Interested? Then you won't want to miss the next orientation and tour of the Aurora Sportsman's Club. Call, email, or visit our website today to find out how you can become part of a better shooting experience at the Aurora Sportsman's Club in Waterman, Illinois.
He is the human Molotov cocktail that they can legally throw into the system that stole their lives from them.
So we're going to create a new government that serves you, your family, and your country. It's time for On Target Radio, Chicagoland's only radio show dedicated to the red meat issues that affect your life, from gun control to freedom of speech. Now, debating, debunking, and discussing today's hot issues, here are your hosts, David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz.
Welcome to On Target Radio. Tonight, David's rant of the week is, When is a Kid No Longer a Kid? With David and Gretchen talking about new gun legislation in Florida. Then, Trump plans to meet with North Korea, and Bill Maher, of course, has something to say. Could he be on board? Then, Elizabeth Warren refuses a DNA test to prove Native American heritage, and the ATF is investigating after a Democratic congressional candidate is seen on video sawing an AR-15 rifle apart. All that and more on tonight's On Target Radio. So give us a call at 815-205-1584. That's 815-205-1584. Or go to Facebook, like our page On Target Radio, and ask a question or make a comment there.
Today's Rant of the Week and more of David's work can be found at bearingarms.com. And now, from the seething cauldron of personal opinion, it's David's Rant of the Week.
What never ceases to amaze me about liberals is their ability to ignore facts and logic to further their Second Amendment or anti-Second Amendment agenda. The current improper reaction to the Parkland, Florida school shooting is a case in point. Putting aside the increasing tide of conspiracy theories, let's take a look at the political ramifications. The press is swooning over a bunch of high school kids who all too eagerly seek out the television camera to relate their experience and push for more gun control. Several things just jump out at me when I see them. First, it's amazing how well they recovered from the trauma of that event in such a short time, about half a news cycle. Even more unusual, they were able to research all manner of facts to support their position, and their choice of words was, well, distinctly mature. If I were a more cynical person, I'd say they'd been given a script. Oh, wait, 17-year-old Colton Hobb, a junior at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, was given a script to use in a CNN town hall. Hobb, not comfortable reading a script and preferring to say, well, what he actually saw and felt, opted out of the event rather than outright lie by using a script. CNN vehemently denies giving the 17-year-old junior and ROTC cadet any script. CNN, of course, stands on its reputation for the truth to assure us it wasn't so. I trust gas station sushi more than CNN's word. Who could resist a gaggle of teens drawing upon their deep understanding of gun control, the Second Amendment, and an appropriate method to solve the problem and prevent such a horrific event from ever happening again? Certainly not Florida Governor Rick Scott. Up until the kids explained what he needed to do, Scott was a Republican who theoretically believed in the United States Constitution. While I can probably find one or two problematic aspects of that paradigm, let's move forward with the finer points of Scott's brilliant implementation of what the kids say constitutes reasonable gun control. They are: ban bump stocks, require a 3-day waiting period for firearm purchases, implement an extreme risk protection order, raise the age to purchase a firearm from 18 to 21, and allow some teachers to be armed if both the local school district and local sheriff's department agree. So, one by one, ban bump stocks. See, the problem I have with this is the killer didn't use a bump stock. But it sure sounds like a great idea, doesn't it? When in doubt, pass a new law, even if it makes, well, no sense whatsoever. Require a 3-day waiting period for firearm purchases. This makes only marginally more sense than banning something that wasn't used in the commission of the crime. He hadn't bought the gun in the preceding 3-day period. Okay, this one also falls under when in doubt, pass a new law, even if it makes no sense whatsoever. Implement an extreme risk protection order so anyone can drop a dime on you without your knowledge. Then out of the blue they take away all your guns and firearm permits. Okay, this one significantly departs from the when in doubt paradigm. This one is simply violating one's constitutional right to due process. Wait, Scott is a Republican, right? Then there is the provision to allow some teachers to be armed if both the local school district and local sheriff's department agree. The legislation requires the applicant for a concealed carry permit to be used in schools will be required to take 132 hours of training, a background check, and additional diversity training, because recognizing the killer as a boy in touch with his feminine side is such an important part of the rules of engagement when he's shooting everyone in sight. Well, once all that is done, then you apply for the permit. What could possibly go wrong with that? I mean, won't the school boards and the sheriff's department warmly embrace teachers carrying a concealed firearm in class? Personally, I'm for it. Predictably, liberals are against it, probably because a transgendered restroom isn't specified in the bill. And finally, raise the age to purchase a firearm from 18 to 21. Let's just shift gears momentarily. What Scott is saying is that your son or daughter can join the U.S. Armed Services, be sent to a theater of war, they can risk their lives daily, engage the enemy in a gunfight, then return home, and they can't buy a shotgun and go pheasant hunting. This reminds me of Cassius Clay, who resisted the draft because, well, he didn't want to go to war and kill strangers. They pulled his boxing permit, and the message was clear. You know, it's okay to kill people, but not beat them up. But isn't that liberalism at its finest? It's one thing to have a mass murderer running loose killing children, and that's understandable to a liberal, but oh my God, you can't let an 18-year-old go shoot a pheasant in some farm field because he's just a kid, and kids aren't responsible enough to own a firearm unless he's killing a stranger in a foreign country. And that, Gretchen, is my rant for the week.
I think, not to pick nits, but the teenager from the school who may or may not have had a script is Hogg, actually, not Hobb. His last name is Hogg.
Really?
Really.
That's interesting. I copied that right out of the article.
That article was wrong.
Well, probably came from Boston. I don't know. Well, but are you sure? Because there was another kid. There was that one kid that is just like the kid of an FBI agent.
Oh, well.
I think that was Hogg. He's the one that came out and was so smooth.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right.
And then they discovered his father's from the FBI, and then there was a question as to whether.
Similar, I thought it was a typo.
Yeah,
okay.
then there was a question as to whether or not he even went to school there, which I think it turned out he did.
Yeah, he did, but I think he's like a child actor or something like that.
Well,
that's what I heard.
That's what people were saying, and this whole thing is, look. I don't care if you're on the right side or the left side. There's nutballs on both ends. So now this is turning into all kinds of craziness. They apparently the Secret Service did a drill there. They've never done one in another high school anywhere in the country, according to what I've read. And they chose that school to do a drill like the week or so before. I can't remember what. Somewhere in there. And then, you know, it just goes down. I mean, you never know what's true and what isn't true.
Yeah.
But the bill, that's right from the governor.
Right.
Who I believe still is a Republican, I think.
Oh,
unless
technically.
He put a big D in crayon after his name. If you kind of erase that lower thing on the R and just smooth it out, it turns into a D. Adam Kinzinger did it. Worked out real well. I don't know. If you have thoughts on this, if you're a conspiracy theorist and you know all the things that went down that we don't, you can give us a call at 815-205-1584, 815-205-1584, and you can talk about Haley Bopp or whatever.
Tell us all the other suspicious crap that you know about.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's what makes a show good. Absolute insanity. It makes a show good. So I don't know. None of this stuff will have any effect on anything, as is always the case.
I think that last one, obviously, they're thinking, well, he's 19, so if you raise the age from, 18 to 21, that particular guy wouldn't have been able to buy that particular gun. But your point is well taken. I mean, if you're 18, you can join the military, and you can use even more powerful guns to kill people.
And here's the thing. It's insanity to pass a law that might have stopped one person from doing something.
Right, exactly.
If we did that with everything,
which is the same thing with the bump stock.
Exactly.
It's the exact same thing with the bump stock. But yeah, that wasn't even in Florida. It's like, okay, what? I'm so confused.
Yeah. Oh, we had this big shootout at the school. Let's ban bump stocks. Excuse me. They didn't use a bump stock. Well, yeah, but that's not the point. People have this compulsive need to rush in and do something to save their political skin, basically. I think that's what it is.
That is what it is, because people who operate based on emotions, like these children at the school and liberals in general, that's what they do. They go, do something. Something has to be done.
It was a terrible tragedy. There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely.
And I don't mean to make light of it. It was a terrible thing. But the point is you don't put a salve of anything over a wound like that. That makes no sense whatsoever.
Right.
Why don't we talk about going after people who have mental health problems?
Right. It's basically the wrong medicine
for
the wound that you have.
That's exactly right. And we know, particularly in this case, 45 times they went, oh, no, it was only 20, 25, whatever. Okay, so it was 25. Somewhere along the line, you'd think they'd go, kid ain't right, as you fond to say. Kid ain't right, man. It reminds me of, what's his name? Adam Lanza. Right. They're all nutballs. We go into commercial?
You have 3 minutes.
Well, I never know.
Oh, 11 seconds. Okay.
It's 10 seconds. We're going to commercial.
Well, it's 8:12, so I thought we had 3 more minutes.
Well, see, there's the music. We're going to commercial. I love a professional show.
Finally.
I really do. I like a professional
Finally
show.
going to commercial.
Finally, people can walk away. All right, well, when we come back, I think we're going to talk about Bill Maher.
Yes.
One of the people you love to hate, like Michael Moore. It's somebody that you really love to hate.
Yep.
We come back, we're going to talk about Michael Moore and Trump going to North Korea. When we return with more on Target Radio.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. The On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook, and lunch are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invite you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
Do you dread writing? Is it challenging to find just the right words to get your point across? Do you put off developing marketing materials because you just don't know where to start? You get one chance to make a first impression, and my editor, Creative Business Services, can help make it a strong, positive one. Hi, this is Gretchen Fritz, co-host of On Target Radio, and I'd like to tell you about My Editor, a business I started to help you overcome those concerns. What you're experiencing is very common. My Editor has helped business owners, candidates for political office, and even authors and public speakers. At My Editor Creative Business Services, we can simply edit your existing work or help you develop an entire writing plan of action from initial project design through final copy. We are easy to work with and will help you get your point across in the most effective manner. If words escape you, send me an email at myeditor@mail.com. Use My Editor Creative Business Services and go to print with confidence. That's myeditor@mail.com, or find us on Facebook.
You're listening to On Target Radio with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
There are a few entertainers that I find as repulsive as Bill Maher, and he's and it's principally because of his attitude. That's snarky, you know. I mean, I have a hard time with liberals in general, but you know, generally you can like keep from gagging. But Bill Maher is such a in-your-face. You know, he thinks he's the smartest guy in the room all the time.
Oh yeah, smug. He's very smug.
Exactly, and you just want to go, yeah. So now he wants to send. He's applauding the thought that Trump would go to North Korea.
So before we really launch into this, I have a question.
Yeah.
If there are curse words in a direct quote, that doesn't count, right? Those are freebies.
Well, see, here's what I see. I see asterisks.
Yeah, but we know what that means.
But it doesn't matter.
As I pointed out to Eric, I'm a professional, I'm an editor, and I can tell from context what that word is supposed to be.
But the reason there's asterisks is so that you don't say the word.
No, it's so they don't say the word.
Which then translates to you.
When you're speaking, though, you can't asterisk yourself.
Right. What am I going to...
I most assuredly can. Listen to this. I can do this. What is this bull... that no president... Oh, Victor Borgia. Victor Borgia.
Oh, did he used to do that?
What is this bull that...
We need a bleep button.
Yeah, so we can...
Yes, on her side.
Bleep ourselves.
I don't ever talk shit.
Oh, you get one credit.
Ding, ding,
All
ding.
right.
I got a credit. Okay, well, I only need 2 for the story. So here we go.
Bill Maher.
So on his show the other night, obviously he threw in a couple jabs on Trump to begin with, to start out with. But then he said, so it looks like Trump is going to travel to North Korea in May. And of course, there are reasons, 100 reasons why this is dangerous. We're talking about, after all, a family that has reneged on every deal they ever signed.
That's for sure.
And Kim Jong-un can't be trusted either. I got you.
That is good.
I got you.
That's clever.
And then he continues, but you know what? I was watching all the cable news last night, and so all these liberals who are reflexively hating on this, Obama, remember him, proposed the exact same thing in 2008, and they loved it. And B, fuck you. You don't live on the West Coast where a nuke can get here faster than an Uber from North Korea. I mean, what is this bullshit? No president has ever done this. Yeah, and they all failed. So I'm going to file this one under so crazy, it just might work.
You have to admit that it takes a set of cojones for the President of the United States, whoever he is, to go to a place where they are vowed to kill him.
Or even to meet him somewhere neutral.
Anywhere. True. But see, that's typical for this president.
I think it is a little crazy to go to North Korea. I'd be like, can we go to, like,
Taiwan,
you know, Japan or someplace?
Yeah, someplace irrelevant.
Yeah.
But, oh my God, if my contact in Japan heard me say that, he'd go, hi.
You're going to get some hate mail?
Japan is nice. I like Japan, sort of. I do. I like the, the...
You were just saying the other day you wanted to go back there.
Yeah. Well, that one place is phenomenal. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. But it's gutsy.
It is.
But this is a characteristic thing, I think, for Donald Trump. He sees a deal, and he'll do anything. He doesn't, and that's what I think a lot of Republicans don't understand about him. It's not that he's a Republican or a Democrat. It's that it's the deal. That's it. If he says this is going to be good for us, he doesn't really care what it takes to do it. He just does it. And apparently he's willing to put himself into harm's way.
Back to the previous topic just for a second, because it relates to what you're saying, is, he kind of spouted off after the shooting in Florida, the murders in Florida. He kind of spouted off and said, I think, maybe in some situations we should take the guns first and worry about due process later. And he kind of spouted off, and then that night the NRA was like at the White House meeting with him, like late at night. It was like 10 or 11 at night, I guess. And then the next day he said, I don't know if I think he tweeted something or he made a statement or something. And it was, basically walking back what he had said the day before, because of his meeting with the NRA. But it's what you're saying, he's a little bit impetuous, but he
a lot.
but he loves a deal, and the NRA comes in and they say, listen, we have to talk about this, this is our position on this, and they
here's the thing about that. I have mixed opinions about that. I mean, realistically, if you look at this, if you know somebody is a loose wingnut and they're a threat, up here in the cerebellum, okay, in the sort of high areas of the brain, you go, yeah, if that guy's really a problem, let's take the guns away and then we'll work it out. I get that. I really do get that. Because if you'd have done that with this guy, it wouldn't have happened.
Right, exactly.
There's just that nasty sort of thing called due process.
Yeah, there's just this little thing called the Constitution.
Exactly. and the truth is, a democracy is not pretty. It's not clean. It really isn't. And a republic is really not clean. Adam Kinzinger being a classic example of that. Oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and right down the toilet. There are things that you say in your head. Yeah, that sounds good. The problem is it's only good if it's done right. Yeah, it's only good if it actually works the right way it's supposed to. I once asked my brother-in-law, Ron, who's Jewish. Jews in this country, mostly, not all, are very anti-gun. And I said to him, it strikes me that if I were Jewish, given the history of Jews in the world, everybody has kicked their ass at some time or another, I would be armed to the teeth. And his response was actually pretty insightful. He said, the only thing that Jews distrust more in government is their neighbor. I get that. I understand that. Democracy is not for the weak of heart. If you think about it, living in a dictator's world, assuming he's not, like butchering people in the street, but, it's a monarchy or that type of thing, and they actually lay down the law. There's a certain amount, people are going to say, oh, he's a socialist. I'm not. But there's a certain amount of comfort in not having to worry about decisions.
Well, it's true. I mean, you can read all sorts of psychological things about that.
Right.
Wear the same thing to work every day, and you'll save tons of time because you don't have to make a decision.
Exactly. And so I don't believe that. I mean, personally, I don't believe in that. I don't think it's a good idea because I'm raised in America, and Americans are fiercely independent.
Right, exactly.
Just
in general, we don't do that.
But if you go to other countries, Japan, and I do like Japan, but if you go to Japan, terribly repressed people. And that sounds worse than it is. I mean, they have great lives, and they live well, and they're fairly affluent people and all. But the state is vastly more important than the individual.
Right.
And it's not communism, but it's the state is. It's the same thing we had that member of parliament from Australia on. And remember, I said, how could people just turn in those guns? And he goes, you don't understand. From the day we're born.
Right.
From the day we're born, the state takes priority over the individual. It's in our characteristic. He said, Americans, you don't get that because it's not in your characteristic.
It's just a different culture.
It is.
Entirely, yeah. We're just raised with a different set of standards and, expectations. But yeah, and it's true. And especially, I think it's Japan, but also some other Asian countries as well. It's not always the government. It's, the company that you work for.
Sure.
Very, very important in that culture. And, just like you said, very deferential as far as collectivism, sort of as a way of thinking, and that the collective is more important than the individual.
The unfortunate thing is, even in those places, there's mass murders.
Well,
it's human nature.
Right, it happens everywhere.
Right.
If somebody can, lose it, if somebody can, come undone, it's something that can happen. And some people just kill themselves, and other people lash out.
Wasn't it Japan years ago where they had that big knife? That guy with the knife went and killed. Not this recent one.
There was one in China. A number
was
of
it
years
China?
ago, where they killed like 14 or 17 or something like that.
With a knife.
I think it was China.
With a knife. And the interesting thing about that is that somebody with a knife goes into a crowd of people and starts killing people, and nobody takes him out. Mm-hmm. You'd think, I don't know. I don't see that happening here.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to imagine how that would go down, but maybe he's just really fast. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
But this isn't the Bill Maher thing is interesting because it's the person who wrote this article, Jack Coleman of Newsbusters. He theorizes that Maher was taking a swipe at Rachel Maddow because with his BS comment, because apparently on her show, she said, you can imagine a president asking himself or herself, why has no other American president ever agreed to do this? Should I take that to mean that this might be a particularly risky or even an unwise move? So, she was just saying that she thought it was a really bad idea, and Bill Maher's like, I think that's BS.
Of course, Bill Maher would like to see him go over there and get shot or hung or something.
Well, I mean, that's not the flavor of that's not the flavor I got from what he said.
Yeah, that's the flavor I get from having watched the show a couple of times.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's a very hateful person on his
really
show.
Is.
So I could see why you would say that. I'm just saying from the specific quote, it doesn't. Yeah. I'm not getting that.
I watched a clip, and I don't know how old it is, but I watched. It can't be that old because it's Ann Coulter's latest book. This woman is the most prolific writer in the history of mankind. It's like, what day is it? Wednesday? Oh, it's the next book.
Well, that's her job. I mean,
it is, and that is.
She probably does it at least 20 hours a week.
I suspect that is what she does. She was a full-time writer, author, but she was on The View, which she's been on several times, and they were giving her.
I'm surprised they keep inviting her back.
Well, because it's great ratings.
Probably
the audiences love it.
The great thing about Ann Coulter is she has like a spine of steel. Like,
she's unflappable.
You can never get her upset.
She's
you
unflappable.
Yeah, she is absolutely unflappable. I mean,
all these women around her yelling and screaming.
Yeah, she is my hero. Like, they'll say something to her, and she'll say something back, and I'm like, oh, I love her so much.
Yeah, they were, and what happens is, oftentimes, not always, sometimes it's very controversial, but oftentimes she is just reciting facts. Just, this is in the paper. You can go and look this stuff up. And, she was talking about how...
But it's her delivery, too.
Oh, well, yeah, absolutely. It's what she does for a living. But she was talking about how the majority of kids who come from fatherless homes are involved in crimes. And they just went ballistic. They went, it's racist. That's what she goes. No, it's the FBI number.
Yeah.
This is what we know for a fact.
This is research, yeah.
Right. And they just, never confuse them with the facts.
Yeah.
Drives them nuts.
Yeah, they can't stand that.
Now, anyway, we're going to take another break because I don't know why we take breaks. But anyway, we'll come back. We'll talk a little more about Trump going to North Korea when we return with more on Target Radio. Hi, I'm David Lombardo, co-host of On Target Radio, and I'd like to offer you a partnership opportunity. For over 4 years, On Target Radio covered the red meat issues that affect your life, from gun control to freedom of speech on AM 560 The Answer. But a 1-minute commercial was $200, making it tough to find enough sponsors. So last November, we left AM 560 and began podcasting. There's a learning curve to podcasting, and we've worked through the kinks and would now like to make you an offer. You can have a 60-second audio or video commercial for as little as $25 a week. We can also offer fellow conservatives their own radio or video podcast for as little as $100 a week, with equipment and technical personnel included. You provide the content and host, plus get 6 free minutes of commercial time you can sell yourself. If you'd like to be an On Target Radio sponsor or explore the possibility of having your own show, call me at 815-741-3474 and let's explore the possibilities together.
You're listening to On Target Radio with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
This segment is brought to you by the Will County Grassroots Division of the Illinois State Rifle Association. Join like-minded friends supporting the right to keep and bear arms in Illinois at 7 p.m. on the third Wednesday of the month at the Silver Dollar Restaurant in Elwood, Illinois. This month's guest speaker is John Fairman, a pro-Second Amendment Chicago criminal defense attorney who is going to run against Cook County Sheriff Tom Dart. Come and hear John explain that no law-abiding concealed carry holder should ever fear going into Cook County. Join us Wednesday, March 21st at 7 p.m.
You want to reread that question that we got? It's on YouTube, right?
Yeah, we had a question on YouTube. It says, is the NRA going to be able to get an injunction to stop states from raising the age to 21? And also, what do you actually see becoming law in Illinois in the next few weeks?
Well, the NRA filed against Florida literally as soon as that bill was passed, and that's part of it, the age thing. They're calling it constitutional, but then, and I hate to be the devil's advocate, but okay, so they're raising it from 18 to 21. They're saying, well, it's your constitutional right. Well, is it for 17 then? Where do they draw the line?
Right.
And I don't like it. People, I'm sure this is the second thing I'm saying in this show. And people, socialist son of a bitch. But I mean, just looking at it from a pragmatic perspective, what's so special about 18?
Right.
I don't know.
Makes sense.
But Kennedy is going to retire. Did you see this? Justice Kennedy?
Oh, no.
This summer he's going to retire. Now, Kennedy
Excellent.
is a Republican, sort of. Well, he's not Roberts. He's not Gorsuch, I mean.
Right.
So the good thing about it, it'd be nice if it was the woman on formaldehyde, but I think she will, and in fact may already be dead and just propped up,
That's my theory.
Yeah, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Anyone that wears that little thing, just.
I think I think they have to give her a little electric shock every day before, and they put her up there. And they're like, okay, she'll just sit here.
It's time to vote.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I think they just give her a little juice to, wake her up, and then they just sit her in the seat and do their business.
But the one advantage, even though Kennedy is a Republican, who's Reagan, I think Reagan appointed him. But anyway, even though he's a Republican, but it does give Trump a chance to put a young person in that spot that would be there for a long time. So that's something. But I would rather, one of the Breyer or somebody rather would.
It could still happen.
It could. Well, yeah, he's got a couple more years, and he probably has a pretty good chance of getting reelected because the liberals are running around. The entire Democratic platform is, we don't have Donald Trump. That's the whole thing they got going.
They're losing their minds.
Yeah, that's their whole platform.
They've been losing their minds consistently for a year and a half or so.
And people, I think, are getting pretty fed up with it. But the only drawback is, the only thing that would really prevent him from getting reelected is voter fraud, which is certainly not uncommon in this country. But, yeah.
Yeah, I don't actually think they're going to hang any of this Russia crap on him, but if they could, that could be an impediment, but I don't see it happening. Anyway, back to Illinois, the bills in Illinois.
Illinois, yeah. Well, I can tell you for a fact, I talked to, and I knew this because when Todd Vandermeiden and I were down there a week ago, I guess it was now, bump stocks are the sacrificial lamb. What people don't understand about this process, and I've said this many times, but they really don't get it. You get these people who, it's a line in the sand, don't give in. Well, the problem is this is a Democratic legislature, and if you don't wiggle, you get nothing at all. Mm-hmm. They just lock you out completely.
Right.
So a good example
Not only that, but I think that even Republican representatives and senators down there have enough people in their constituency who want to see something like that. You want to see, a ban on bump stocks or various things like that. Orders of protection, raise the age to buy guns. There's enough people in those districts that it behooves them to vote for that.
Yeah, it's the fine art of politicking is very interesting. First of all, as we know, if you are a Democrat and you are in an area where there's any question about your being reelected, Madigan funds your campaign. He's got a multi-million-dollar war chest. Well, basically, he owns you then. It's like the mob giving you a juice loan. You belong to him then, which is why they will put forth a bill or an amendment with their name on it and have no idea what it says. Yeah. So what people don't understand is there are Democrats who look at some of the gun stuff and they go, I don't really want to vote for that. That's, but
they get a message.
They owe, right. So the first time we had the bump stock, right after Las Vegas, everybody gave the ISRA a pound of you-know-what. But because they came up with an alternative bump stock bill, which was a clean bump stock bill.
It was a clean bill.
Right.
It was nothing else, yeah.
And the purpose of that, literally, the entire purpose of that bill was so that Democrats who didn't want to vote for the worst one had a place to go, and then they could say, well, I voted against the bump stocks. I just didn't, my constituents didn't like everything in the other one. If you don't give them a safe haven to go to, they got no choice.
Well, and it was proposed by a Republican, which means it's never going to come out of committee.
Out of committee. Exactly. It's not going to come out of committee. And it was a brilliant move, and it certainly isn't the only time it's been done. But people were enraged. Oh, the ISRA sold us out. They don't get it. Yeah. They don't get it. And being down there for a day and lobbying with Todd was a very eye-opening thing. It really was. The most important thing I learned?
What?
Wear comfortable shoes. Yeah.
Don't bring a briefcase.
Don't bring a briefcase. You literally pigeonhole people in hallways, in men's rooms, wherever you can find. Is Senator Bob here? No, Senator Bob's out someplace. And now you're cruising like a shark looking for the guy, Right. He's in the restroom. 100 people go in there. Yeah. Nice watch, Bob. It's a tough game.
Yeah.
It really is. Anyway.
But as far as the other bills, I don't think we really know anything at this point.
There is the assault weapon thing is probably not going to be a starter. Probably not. You never know.
I mean, what we're really hoping is that the ones that have already passed, the Rauner will veto them.
And that
I think there's
he won't veto the. I doubt very much he'll
sign
veto
the
bump stocks,
yeah,
right?
He'll sign
because
that.
He's trying to make some kind of nice too.
Right.
Somebody on Facebook said, well, one person goes, oh, sure, he's going to veto it so he doesn't lose the Republican vote. Somebody else goes, no, he won't veto it because, and then the third person goes, he's not getting reelected. It really doesn't matter which he does because he's not getting reelected.
Yeah.
So, what are you going to do? I told you Dan Proft called me today, and I'm officially endorsing Ives, and I did a couple of, I don't know what they are. Hi, I'm David Lombardo. I train 7,000 people, and I'm voting for Ives. But somebody brought up the question about her. Is she really viable to win the election? I don't know. Pritzker has got a bottomless pit of money.
Yeah, I think she's a dark horse, but both of the Republicans are dark horses at this point.
Well, we know Rauner is not likely to beat her in the primary.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I was just talking to somebody the other day, and I think there's enough low info voters who are going to see the attack ads against her,
which are really, some of them are not nice
and they
at
will
all.
either stay home or they will vote for him.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they're nasty.
They are. They really are.
They're really not cool, and she hasn't really been able to do the same against him. I mean, a little, but they're not running on a loop the way that the ones against her are.
She didn't have that kind of money.
So, I mean, I think that he has name ID, to a greater level than she does. So I don't know. I haven't seen any polls. So
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, I don't actually, other than the people who are working for his campaign, I don't actually know anybody who's voting for him.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure they're voting for him either.
Well, true. It's a secret ballot, so
yeah, right,
we don't know.
Exactly. I don't know. It's hard to say what's going to come out of that. An awful lot of the people that we talk to, when you get them in their office or in the John when they're alone, wherever you happen to get them, most of them are pretty candid.
Oh yeah.
They just come out and say, I got to vote for that. I have to. Right. And then they say, but I won't vote for this one. And they're now tallying stuff up.
Oh,
they
yeah.
really are. They're tallying it up.
I know somebody on county board who does that.
Really? No, we're probably not going to mention the name, are we?
I don't have any plans to. No.
Oh, that's fine. That's okay.
It's just interesting that there are other people who do that.
Oh, absolutely.
Count the votes.
Absolutely. Well, and I get it.
That's how the game is played.
You got to know. Remember, it was Bronner that said, if I'm going to get elected, I got to have 15% more. Mm-hmm. That's how you play the game, because they're going to juke the numbers, and
right.
I got to have 15% more than I need, which makes sense.
Right.
I was telling that to John, and everybody. You should come to John Furman, who I've talked about a number of times, is a black criminal defense attorney on the south side of Chicago. He's very well known in what he does. Is going to run against Tom Dart. And the interesting thing about Furman is he's born and raised in Texas. So while he is a black criminal defense attorney, he's very pro-Second Amendment. Mm-hmm. So we're going to run him around the ISRA grassroots meetings. He's going to be the next one at, don't fall asleep, he's going to be the next one at, because somebody's got to segue us out of here, at ours, Will County, and then he's going to be
South Suburban.
He's going to do South Suburban. He's going to do the one, I think, in Arlington or whatever. I want to line him up with Safari Club, too. Very nice guy. I'm looking forward to you meeting, because I think you really like him. He's just a very nice guy, and he really does. I wasn't making this up. He's got this obviously well-worn Bible that sits right at his right hand on his desk for a criminal defense attorney. It may be to stop a bullet if somebody tries to shoot him. I'm not sure, but he's a good guy. He's a really good guy. Anyway, I honestly don't know what will happen with the rest of the bills. Have you heard anything?
No.
I haven't. I don't know. You hear stuff when you're down there, and how it actually plays out is not always the same.
Richard Pearson, in something he wrote, I don't know if it was an email or if it was, I'm reading the Illinois Shooter right now, so I'm not sure where it was, but he said this stuff is going to keep popping up. It'll pop up. He said later in April it'll pop up.
They're serious. They're going after us.
Oh, yeah.
And they're not making any bones about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, when we come back, we're going to talk about, this one really appeals to me, Elizabeth Warren. I love that. Elizabeth Warren.
Pocahontas, I was just going to say.
Pocahontas, yes. We will talk about Pocahontas and more when we return with more on Target Radio.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. The On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook, and lunch are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invite you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
In need of a ride to O'Hare or Midway Airport? Well, look no further. The Yellow Checker Cab Company is the cab company for you. With the Yellow Checker Cab Company, you will always be greeted by a friendly face and arrive safely and on time for your flight. Start your trip off right by taking advantage of one of their limos, shuttle vans, cabs, or courtesy cars. And airport trips are not all they specialize in. This 24-hour cab service will pick you up anytime, any day, for any occasion. From bachelorette parties to school dances to just a night out with friends. Yellow Checker Cab Company has the best rates in town. So sit back, relax, and leave the driving to the professionals. Once you experience their fast and affordable cab service, you'll be a customer for life. When it comes to cab companies, be sure to choose Yellow Checker Cab because you have the right to expect certain things from your cab company. For further information or to book your trip today, call 815-744-2900. That's 815-744-2900.
You're listening to On Target Radio with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life. Stand by. Here's Gretchen with your action items for the week.
Earlier today, I shared a long post on our On Target Radio Facebook page about proposed anti-gun legislation for Illinois. It is too much information to share here in this format. Please take a look at our Facebook page if you haven't today. Additionally, I will say that the information came from the Illinois State Rifle Association in an email alert last week. If you do not receive these alerts, you should sign up for them so that you will get important information about defending the Second Amendment right away in your inbox. Join On Target Radio at the Three Rivers Friends of NRA fundraiser on Sunday, March 18th at 3:30 p.m. at the Clarion Hotel in Joliet. If you are familiar with Friends of NRA fundraisers, you know there will be lots of fun and lots of guns, so bring your ones. Just kidding, bring hundreds and 20s. If you have not yet been to a Friends of NRA fundraiser, you are in for a treat. You will meet lots of new friends and you might just win a gun. Individual dinner tickets are $50. Table and raffle ticket packages are also available. For more information, go to friendsofnra.org or email threeriversfnra@gmail.com or call 815-274-1128. Join On Target Radio at Illinois Gun Owners Lobby Day, Wednesday, April 25th in Springfield. Block out the date, put in your day off request, plan your carpool. Do whatever you have to do to be in Springfield on April 25th. We need several thousand defenders of the Second Amendment to show up and make their wishes known to the Illinois General Assembly. This is one of the best ways to combat the gun control movement and legislation in Illinois. The following Safer USA classes are at our facility in Waterman. Saturday and Sunday, April 7th and 8th, Illinois Concealed Carry 1. This 16-hour class will be taught by David and Gretchen and meets the training requirements for Illinois concealed carry as well as Florida and Arizona. Sunday, April 22nd, Introduction to Tactical Carbine, taught by David. To sign up for classes, go to saferusa.com and click on Register.
Elizabeth Warren. The Democrats have more nutballs on their side of the aisle. We've had ours. I wouldn't argue that. We've
got some nutballs.
We've had a few. Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that. But really, they grow a crop. They do. Somebody, a California journalist, as I recall, said, "What is it about California that they continuously keep sending insane women to Congress?" It's just, they have.
They like them.
I guess they do.
It's the land of fruits and nuts.
It is indeed. Fortunately, one of these days they'll become an island. And maybe, like what's his name said, it'll roll over because they have too many people on it. Who was it? I can't remember his name.
I don't remember his name.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do. The video is priceless.
That was, if you have no idea what we're talking about, there is a congressman in a subcommittee that the Navy wanted to deploy more troops to Guam. And now this is dead serious. He actually believes this.
He was 100% for real.
He says, and he was not articulate how he got elected, I'll never know. But he's going, well, this is an island, isn't it? Yeah, it's an island. He's
like, it's only this wide at the widest point,
exactly.
And it's this wide at the narrow, like so many miles at this narrowest point, and it's this many miles long.
It's long and narrow.
And the bad part, there was actually like a military official on the witness stand.
Oh yeah. And he was straight. He did it straight.
I mean, my hat is off to him because he was struggling, but he did keep a straight face.
He did it straight. He did. But the guy says, after he staggers through he can't remember the sizes, and he says, "Do you happen to know what it is?" And the admiral's like,
He's
"No,
like, no, not offhand."
Why? I would
like,
know.
why are we talking about this?
But I can staff it. I can find out for you if you'd like, Congressman.
Yeah.
When it's all said and done, his statement after like 5 minutes of bumbling around is, "Well, I'm afraid if we put all these people in, the island will tip and everyone will die."
Right. He's like, I'm just wondering if it's possible it's going to capsize. And everybody goes.
The look of the staffers in the background was,
was Hank Johnson.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We should get it on the show. It could be, hey, we could turn this into a comedy.
Oh, my gosh. But anyway.
Pocahontas.
So Pocahontas, an editorial this month in Massachusetts, Berkshire Eagle, urged Warren to buy a DNA test to prove that she really is part Native American.
I have to read this sentence, though. I have to.
Okay, read it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Because it says,
if you can.
All the senator needs to do is spit into a tube, wait a few weeks, and get her answer. I can just see Indian.
So I had actually never heard this story before. This is what she was told by her parents and her grandparents.
Right.
My mother and daddy were born and raised in Oklahoma. My daddy first saw my mother when they were both teenagers. He fell in love with this tall, quiet girl who played the piano, head over heels. But his family, yes, please, enter the violins. But his family was bitterly opposed to their relationship because she was part Native American. And then they ended up eloping. That's the story that my brothers and I all learned from our mom and dad, from our grandparents. It's a part of me, and nobody's going to take that part of me away. So in other words, she doesn't want to find out the truth, lest it conflict with the family story that she's been told all these years.
She only has to spit. Come on. All she has to do is go, "Mama and Papa got married in Oklahoma."
She's probably doing that anyway. Although now she's from Massachusetts, so now she's all cultured.
Oh, she's
too good for Oklahoma now. Our friend Larry Andel sent me a picture of Elizabeth Warren with the caption "Sitting Bull."
That's funny.
Lies like a Democrat.
That is funny. Sitting bull. I like that.
As in, you know what?
Oh, I do indeed. And Trump cuts her no slack.
No, I'm actually not out of points.
You're in the hole on
I still
points.
I think I have 2 points
No,
left.
you haven't.
Because I was up to 4, and I just used 2.
It's not true. It's all a lie.
No, I do.
Trump cuts this woman no slack at all.
No.
Just recently called her Pocahontas again.
He calls her Pocahontas all the time. All the time.
Well, she's a loose wingnut.
So one good thing that came out of this harassment is that on Sunday, I think she was on Meet the Press today, maybe? Yeah, I think she was on Meet the Press today. And she said she is not going to run for president in 2020. Other people have said that and then run for president, but she said, "I am not running for president of the United States."
Isn't that historically a Democratic acknowledgement that they're going to run for president?
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Don't they all say that?
I think they do.
Yeah, I'm not going to run for president. 2 days later.
So, she is going to run for president.
God help us if a woman like that became president.
And I have to say, she must be a Indian Democrat with a heart of gold, because she's worried about Trump. She said, "I'm very worried they're going to take advantage of him in North Korea."
I like to make fun of liberals. You may not have noticed that.
No.
But the fact is, the truth is, if you really want to be objective, most of those people believe what they believe, just like we believe what we believe.
It always reminds me of, there's a line in Breakfast at Tiffany's where the movie guy says, "The thing about her is she really believes all this phony stuff she believes in."
Well, it is. I've known lots of Democrats. We know Democrats, and they're not phony. They believe what they believe in.
Oh yeah.
The problem is, and it's not like we don't have our share of these people, but there's the ideologues who are way off the chart. And they're the ones that seem to end up running the party, and that's the problem. And the rest of them just sort of like sheep wander around behind them.
Yeah, and I think that, at least from my experience at the local level of government, is those are the ones that tend to be the most vocal.
Right,
So
exactly.
you notice them the most because they're the loudest.
Exactly. They demand attention. And the rest of the people go, I just want to do my job. I just want to do my job. It's just unfortunate they're allowed to do that because, and I've said this before, but, back 40s, 50s, even the 60s, Democrats and Republicans would go into back rooms, they'd light up cigars, and they'd beat the living crap out of each other for about 5 hours, and they'd come out and they'd have a bill. And everyone went home. They went drinking and having dinner. That's all gone. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's all strictly partisan. It's you're black or you're white, period. It's one or the other. There's no common ground. Look at what they're doing to this president.
I don't know. I guess I take a different view of it. Before Trump got elected, and we had a Republican-controlled Congress and a Democrat president, and nothing was getting done. And the way I look at it, I'm like, good. Because if something's getting done, it means they're making new laws, and we don't really need any. We need less laws is what we need. We need fewer laws. So, so in many ways, I think that, the partisanship, I think, can be a good thing as far as just simply being obstructionist and just not letting the Democrats just do whatever they want to do.
The last little piece I think is really kind of funny.
I was fond of it.
A Democrat trying to show his support for gun control.
No, her.
I'm sorry. Trying to show her support for gun control was going to destroy an AR-15 on camera. And what happens? What did she do?
Well, she didn't tape the whole thing, or she didn't put up on the internet the whole video, but she cut up her gun, or at least the barrel of her AR-15, and now she's being investigated by the ATF.
She cut it below legal length. She actually created a felony in front of everybody that was watching, thinking that she was destroying the gun. When she did, she sawed it off.
What I think is funny about this is people are saying this online, and then she says, "I knew exactly what I was doing."
Oh, yes. We haven't dug the hole deep enough. Give me another shovel. Let me dig a little deeper.
Let me help you. Yeah. But yeah, her name is Karen Mallard. She's a school teacher turned politician running for Virginia's 2nd congressional district seat, which is occupied. She's not running unopposed. And yeah, she decided that she was going to. She said, "I took a personal stand for gun safety, and I'm not backing down."
But you know what it does? It again underscores the fact that these people are arguing for more gun control, blah blah blah. And they honestly, truly, really have no idea what they're talking about. They really, literally don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
It's totally feel good. Well, we should just ban guns. We shouldn't have bump stocks because that's like having a full automatic. It doesn't matter that one person in history used it.
Right.
They don't understand it at all.
Well, and what I never, this is the second person that I've heard of that took a video of them destroying their own gun. What I don't understand.
Oh yeah, there was that guy who said who was a Republican who said, "In all
Right.
good conscience, I can't own this anymore." Well,
Right.
give it to me.
Well, right. It's like, okay, last time I checked, my guns just sit in the closet unless I actually take them out and do something with them. I mean, I don't really understand what they think is going to happen with the gun that sits at their house and they're not using it. Like they think it's going to walk.
It's symbolic, and it makes no sense. It really does.
But that's what I mean. It doesn't make any sense. It's
You
like,
don't see people smashing cars because there's traffic fatalities. You don't see people smashing bottles of booze because drunks. Only guns, and it's because the liberals have been extremely good at getting their message out.
Yes.
Extremely good. They're far better than conservatives because most of the conservatives have to go to work. They don't have time to do it. But
that's a fact.
I don't know. And I've said this once or twice, but I'll say it again. The truth is we are losing the war on guns. We take one step forward, and then we end up taking 2 steps back. They go, "Oh, we just got concealed carry." Yeah, that's great. Look at all the stuff that's fallen by the wayside, though. Mm-hmm. Because the other side never gives anything.
Right.
They never grant anything. It's always, we have to meet in the middle. And the middle to them is, come over to my side.
Right.
We're always giving something
They're always
up.
talking about compromise, and I like what you say, that means giving up something that you don't have the ability to take from us.
They won't do it. They don't do that. Compromise
Right.
means giving them what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway,
In liberal speak, it does.
we're about out of time.
We are.
That went pretty quick.
That's it.
We'd like to thank you for taking the time to listen tonight. We appreciate it if you tell your friends about On Target Radio.
We'd also like to thank our engineer, Eric Allen, and our sponsors, the Will County chapter of the ISRA, Yellow Checker of Joliet, My Editor, Creative Business Services, the Aurora Sportsman's Club, and Safer USA.
And finally, we hope you listen next week when we'll be covering more blood-made issues that affect your life.